So, have you ever wasted hours turning your office or maybe your computer desktop completely upside down just looking for one single piece of paper or one specific file? It's incredibly frustrating, right? You get that rising panic when a deadline's looming and the exact information you need is buried somewhere in a giant mountain of folders. Well, today, we're going to fix that. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the power of indexing, looking at everything from physical files to massive search engines. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Indexing sounds like a dusty, boring office chore. But I promise you, it's absolutely not. It's actually this incredible time-saving, money-saving superpower that keeps both physical offices and, honestly, the entire internet running smoothly. Let's get into it. Okay, let's look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the magic of indexing, look into building a good index, and explore types of physical indexes. Then, we'll see the impact on office management before going digital with data and the web. All right, part one, the magic of indexing. To solve our filing nightmares, we first need to fundamentally understand the core mechanism at play here. So, what exactly is indexing? Simply put, it's the act of describing or classifying documents by specific terms or symbols. You basically start by analyzing the subject of a document, and then you associate or tag it with different search terms. Think of it like creating a super precise roadmap for your documents. This roadmap is what allows for the speedy identification and location of records later on. Without it, you literally just have a meaningless pile of data. Now, what's really interesting here is this ultimate codependent relationship. Filing and indexing are so tightly interconnected that filing without indexing is totally imperfect, and indexing without filing simply doesn't subsist. They rely entirely on one another. If you just file things away without an index, finding them again is just pure luck. And documenting without an index is practically insignificant. The prime reason indexing even exists in the first place is to facilitate filing, making it possible to figure out exactly where your records are quickly and effectively. Moving right along to Section 2, Building a Good Index. We know we need an index to survive the paperwork avalanche, but what actually separates a highly functional system from just another messy list? Well, there are a few key essentials. It absolutely must be simple to understand and economical to run, but it also needs flexibility. It has to expand as your organization grows without the whole system just breaking down. And above all, it must allow for the lightning-fast location of files and fit seamlessly with the filing methods you already use. Honestly, an overly complex index totally defeats the entire purpose, which is just to make things easier. And that leads us to the real bottom line. Indexing assists with diminishing the expense of the office by saving time and exertion. This is the huge so what factor. When an office gets dozens or even hundreds of reports every single day, providing a prepared reference list by names, subjects, and dates means your employees aren't wasting paid hours hunting for paper. Saving time directly equals saving money, and it massively boosts your overall office efficiency. Okay, Section 3, Types of Physical Indexes. So before everything lived on a hard drive or in the cloud, organizations had to develop some pretty ingenious physical methods to manage information. You had page indexing with simple alphabetical tabs, moving up to loose vertical card indexing, think of your classic library drawer. Then things got a bit more advanced with visible card indexing, strip indexing, and finally the massive rotary indexing systems. Let's look a little closer at a couple of these brilliant physical hacks. I absolutely love the clever mechanics of these systems. In visible and strip indexing, cards are laid flat in transparent covers or in metal frames. But here is the really brilliant part. Each card is fitted into metal hinges so that its edge projects just slightly past the one above it. This means you can read one line on each card, like a name or an address, without having to move or turn the cards at all. It's such a small physical adjustment, but man, it makes finding information incredibly fast. And then there's the massive scale of the wheel, or rotary index. Imagine a giant wheel on a desk where cards are arranged right around the circumference. A single one of these wheels can hold nearly 5,000 cards. A clerk can sit at their desk, spin the wheel, make entries directly on the cards, and scan the entire system without removing a single piece of paper. You could even set up 6 wheels within easy reach. That is an astonishing amount of physical data organization, literally right at a single person's fingertips. Which brings us to Section 4, Impact on Office Management. So, how do these tools actually change the way an office operates day to day, while through massive operational impacts?
Easy cross-referencing means finding related files in seconds. Crucially, it maintains privacy. Indexing keeps confidential matters secure because random snooping is almost impossible without that index roadmap. Quick location means a trouble-free site and the speedy disposal of urgent matters. And of course, increased efficiency naturally leads to lower operating expenses and real economic results. Proper indexing essentially transforms a chaotic office into a streamlined, secure, and highly economical machine. But keep in mind, there's no magical one-size-fits-all solution here. Choosing the right system depends on a variety of very specific constraints. An office has to closely evaluate its volume of information, the frequency of withdrawals and insertions they make every day, the cost of the equipment, the physical space they actually have available, and whether they need to use visual signals. You really have to tailor the index precisely to your own operational and financial reality. And finally, Section 5, Going Digital with Data in the Web. We've finally arrived at the modern paperless office and the digital realm. Today, practically everything is done digitally, and indexing becomes even more critical. In computer databases, indexing is a vital data structure technique used to efficiently recover records based on certain traits. It streamlines the performance of a database by minimizing the number of disk accesses required when a query is processed. And the fascinating thing is, the exact same principles we just learned for physical cards apply perfectly to computer databases. It's all still just about finding the absolute fastest route to the required information. And this brilliantly illustrates how these concepts scale up to the entire internet. Website indexation is the process by which a search engine adds web content to its index. Search engines literally crawl web pages for keywords, metadata, and related signals. They download this data and store it in massive databases to determine if and where to rank the content. A search engine like Google is essentially doing exactly what a clerk with a rotary wheel does, looking at tags to display the most relevant results, just on a global, lightning-fast scale. To make all of this happen efficiently, indexed websites use something called a sitemap. A sitemap gives instructions to the search engines telling them exactly how often to look for changes and new pages on the site. And what's really amazing is the speed of this digital index. A brand new website, blog, or page can be indexed by search engines in less than an hour. It's an incredibly fast, dynamic system that keeps the entire internet searchable and deeply relevant. Which leaves us with a critical question to consider about your own workflows. Are you just filing, or are you actually indexing? Whether you're looking at the digital folders scattered wildly across your computer desktop or the physical drawers at your office desk, take a moment to evaluate. Is your data actually searchable? Because as we've learned today, storing information is only half the battle. Having the index roadmap to find it again is where the real power lies. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep your data organized.